Haley and the History of Slavery. Black commentator Stanley Crouch doesn't mince words when it comes to Alex Haley. Haley, Crouch insists, was a ruthless hustler and one of the biggest damn liars this country has ever seen. Crouch likens Haley to Tawana Brawley, the young black woman who infamously lied about being raped and humiliated by a white police officer. Like the lie concocted by Brawley and abetted by the likes of Al Sharpton, Haley's story is also a hoax that beautifully illustrates how history and tragic fact can be pillaged by an individual willing to exploit whatever the naive might consider sacred. Crouch explains, Haley came on the scene when Negroes were becoming obsessed with their African ancestry and were having overwrought reactions to a tale of slavery that always, conveniently, left out the crucial role of the cooperative and profiting Africans. Black thinker Thomas Sowell, who has written prolifically on race and slavery, makes the same point as Crouch, even if not quite as bluntly. Regarding the transatlantic slave trade, Sowell remarks that Roots presented some crucially false pictures of what had actually happened, false pictures that continue to dominate thinking today. For instance, Roots has a white man leading a slave raid in West Africa, where the hero, Kunta Kinte, supposedly, Haley's ancestor, was captured, looking bewildered at the chains put on him as he was led away in bondage. Moreover, even the village elders likewise appeared perplexed by the sight of these white men who were carrying their people away. In glaring contrast to this depiction, Sowell correctly asserts, the location from which Kunta Kinte was taken, West Africa, had been a center of slave trading before the first white man arrived there, and slavery continues in parts of it to this very moment. He adds, Africans sold vast numbers of other Africans to Europeans. But they hardly let Europeans go running around in their territory, catching people willy-nilly, emphasis added. According to Sowell, Roots did more harm than good in fueling the gross misconception that slavery was about white people enslaving black people. In reality, the tragedy of slavery was of a far greater magnitude than that. Slavery knew no racial boundaries. People of every race and color were both slaves and enslavers, for thousands of years, all around the world. Sowell likens slavery to cancer in that it transcends time and place. He concludes, if reparations were to be paid for slavery, everybody on this planet would owe everybody else. Haley was, to put it mildly, a historical revisionist when it came to the issue of slavery. But this in and of itself certainly doesn't warrant the verdict, issued in no uncertain terms by Stanley Crouch, that Haley was a ruthless hustler. After all, Haley's historical revisionism on this score is very much a function of the leftist moral imagination that came to dominate the post-1960s intelligentsia. Rather, if Haley could be said to be guilty of nothing more than subscription to an intellectually and ethically shallow political moral vision, it would not be difficult to issue him a pardon.